everyone, it's Daphne and I'm back and we're going to continue working on the Graphic 45 Life is a Journey album, and we are now on to page 3. And so I've laid out page 3 so you get a sense of what we're doing here. We've got one flap over here on the left hand side, and then we've got a waterfall here on the right hand side. This waterfall is made using one of the ephemera journaling cards from the collection. And what I had done is I had just gone through and I trimmed off a 1/2 inch, and I did actually a total of 7 flaps, but I really intended to do 6, but I had already trimmed out 7 pieces, or this is the 7th piece, and I did 6 of these. So it's really up to you how you want to do it. And I chose a 1/2 inch trim because for each one of the flaps we've got a 1/2 inch hinge on the back side, which is going to stagger each one of these, and that way it lines up just perfectly like so. So again, this is just go from one side or the other, and I chose the bottom side because I wanted to try to keep the car whole. Trim off a 1/2 inch for however many flaps you want. In my case, I did a total of 7 flaps, but I intended on 6. So it's really up to you. If you stop at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this would be your 6th one, I wouldn't have cut the tire off the car. So it's just something you can think about. Underneath it is one solid piece, and underneath that piece we're going to add 2 pieces of ribbon on each side, and that's what's going to hold all the flaps together. Okay, with that I'm going to sit down and start laying this out. And again, we are on page 3. So the first thing we're going to do is locate our ribbons, which are going to come across and hold everything in place. So ribbon placement is critical because part of what we're trying to do is hold all of these flaps in place. So I need to make sure that the ribbon is actually coming across the top panel. And my plan is to kind of put it on the low side because I'm going to put this little thing right on top as a design element. So I just want to make sure that that ribbon comes across this top piece because that's what's critical to hold everything else in place. So I'm going to put a little tick mark here. It looks like, and I don't want this to come totally to the bottom. I want a little bit of wiggle room. And I'm just stacking these up one on top of the other. So it looks like, and I want that to be clear. And it is. Okay, so I think if we put our ribbon in right about here, we're going to be good. So now I'm going to line that up and then draw a line so I know where the other side of the ribbon is going to go. And I'm just going to use my grid here to square things up. I'll pull in my ruler and add it in upside down, sorry. Looks like, I'm going to go ahead and say, and we're just going to go up a little. Right about there. And then when I'm done, I'm going to tell you where it's at. But again, I think you should go ahead and lay your waterfall down, especially if you do 6 instead of 7, and see where the ribbon's going to fall across that top one, waterfall piece. But if you do exactly what I did, it's do 7, and it is 3.5 inches from the bottom. 3.5 inches from the bottom is where I'm going to apply my tape. And I said tape, but I meant ribbon, and it is going to get taped down. You want to leave a little bit of space because there's going to be a border around the piece that gets laid down. Okay, and now I'm going to erase my marks. And then while I was away, I picked up my pick tool, so now I'm just going to straighten my space. This is probably more ribbon than I need, but I just took the coordinating ribbon that comes from the bobbin that we give you guys, and I cut it in half. And I'll probably need to trim it some more, but I don't think I'm going to use the ribbon anywhere else in the book, so let's see. You know what? I think I might cut it in half again. I think I can do that. Yeah, I think it'll still still reach and tie in the middle. So just in case I want to use more ribbon somewhere else in the book, I'm going to cut this in half because that should be plenty. And I'm going to lay it down and test it real quick before I put anything on top of it. And if you have it, you should use some fray check on this ribbon because it will shred. So in the end, I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to lay this down and then I'm going to reach across and see if I can't still tie a bow. It's going to be tight, I can see that. But I can. So you can cut it in half, but you won't have a lot of extra. So I'm actually going to take this over a half an inch. There we go. Okay, there we go. Now we're ready to put in this flap, which is 4.5 by 8. Sorry, I got a lot going on here. Things are falling around. Okay. And that's just going to get laid right on top of that piece of ribbon there. So this is page 3. This is the spine side. So this is going to go on the spine side. The waterfall will be on the outside edge. There we go. Okay, now we're ready to put in our main piece, which is going to go right here. I have to be careful because I've already got tape down. Get some glue on that so it's slippery. Hey, sweetie. I love the colors in this collection. I think it's a lot of fun. And next up is Le Romantique, which is a DCE. So it's an older collection of graphics that's been re-released. And I'm actually anxious to cut into that. I think it's going to be very fun and romantic to work with. And I haven't done anything sort of soft and pastel in a while. It's got lots of beautiful peaches in it and beiges. It's very pretty. It's a little early, but it would definitely work as a Valentine's Day collection. Or anniversary. Or wedding. Any of those things. Okay, so that is in. Okay, so the next thing is we have this simple piece. It's going to go right here. And page 2... I'll pull it back into frame for you. So this is page 2, and when it's completely opened, you can see this is just a continuation of page 2. So I told you I wasn't sure if this was 12 by 12. Now I'm sure it's 12 by 12 because I can tell I cut right through here. So this was the 12 by 12. There's 8 inches. There's my other 4 inches. So that's the width of the 12 by 12. So it kind of continues on. So you have that, and this is exactly how it will be in the book side by side. So you get that continuation of the pattern. So that's kind of what my design thought process was there. This will go in here. Okay, and then of course our ribbon's going to come across and tie here, but that's after we put in our waterfall. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to figure out where the top one goes and then draw a reference line, and then we'll lay all the other ones in on top of it. So I'm going to turn it sideways. Okay, I want to make sure that it comes all the way down, doesn't fall off the page. And they're not in order right now, but that's okay. Right now I'm just trying to get an idea of where to install it. Okay. Okay, so I know this is my first one, so it's going to go in on the top. And I think I told you 4.5 by 8 with a 1/2 inch score on the 4.5 inch side. Each one of these is 4 by 4.5. 4 by 4.5. You're going to score a 1/2 inch on the 4.5 inch side. Double checking. Yes, 4 by 4.5. All right. Now I'm going to lay this down, open this up, and then I'm going to use my ruler here right against my reference line. And I'm using the flat edge just to make a visual straight line across. Can you guys hear Nala in the background? She's talking to me. Okay. Okay, there's one. Now it's important that we get these in order because the word says something when it's all installed. So this is the next one. I know that because of the wheel of the car. It's going to go right there. There we go. Let's see what's next. I'm going to go ahead and put these all down just to make sure I'm up high enough. Visually, it looks like I'm too low, so I'm going to double check everything. Nope, I'm good. But it sure looked tight, didn't it? Okay, so I've got 3. Okay, and our last one. There we go. Get lost together. I like it. And this is going to tie like so. And like I said, if you have fray check, you need to get it on the edge of this ribbon because it will fray. This particular type of ribbon wants to fall apart on you. So, all right, and that's a little tight. If I had it to do over again, I'm not sure I would have cut the ribbon in half and in half again, but it does work, just so you know. Okay, so the next thing is I'm going to add a little embellishment here, and then we're going to open it up and get the back sides of each of these covered. So this is one of the die cuts that's part of the collection, and I'm going to put it right here. And right now I'm going back and forth trying to decide if I'm going to mat it on black, and I don't think I'm going to. I think I'm just going to put it down just the way it is. It's not exactly symmetrical, so I'm trying to get the arch straight, not worried about the tail ends, just so you know. Okay, that looks good. Now, these are the back sides for all of these panels, and then I went ahead and trimmed out little pieces. So what I did when I measured this, instead of just measuring for the panel inside the score line, I added a 1/2 inch. So I made these a 1/2 inch larger, and then I trimmed that little bit off so that I'd have that piece. You don't have to do it that way, but that's how I came up with it. And then here's the back side here. So I was trying to decide if I wanted to color block this, and I think I'm going to lay it down solid. So I'm going to dry fit it, and then we're going to lay it down. And I'm glad I did because it's too big. It needs to be trimmed. There we go. Okay, that looks good. Let's get some ink on the edge I just trimmed. And all around it looks like. There we go. Okay, I'm going to turn this sideways so I can get a good look at my edges. And this isn't really directional, so it's really up to you how you want to lay it in, because your words go everywhere. All right. Okay, now we are going to decorate the back side of this. And this is going to take a little time because we got 7. And so we have this, we can either continue the pattern or have a contrast on the other side. Doesn't really matter. I think I'm going to wait, put all the big pieces in, and then come back and add the little pieces. And for now, I'm not planning to decorate this side. I'm planning for this to just be a photo right here on these, the top sides. So right now we're only covering the B side. Couple more, and then we'll be done with page 3. We're getting there. So one of the things I thought about doing, but I didn't, was to take the same, you get 2 of each of the ephemera cards. So one of the things I thought about doing is actually slicing into both of these and doing a reverse where when you open it, it's all cascading this way, and then when you flip it over, it would all be cascading the other way. I didn't, but it was something I had considered doing, which you could still do if you wanted to. I think that's kind of fun. Well, I was hoping I could get these last 3 in without having to stop and change my glue bottle, but I don't think I can. I think I'm going to have to stop and go ahead and make that change, which I have it sitting here, so no big deal, but I just, I don't like to put my, my tip on a bottle without cleaning it, and I don't want to stop to do that right now, so. But I'm going to go ahead and do that. And then later today, when I take a break, I'll clean my tip. But I don't like doing that. I think when you change your glue bottle, it's a good time to clean your tip. Okay, we are on to our last one. Okay. All right. Okay, everyone, this is the end of page 3. Clean up my workspace. I think I am going to go ahead and add these little strips, but I think I'll just do that offline. So I'm going to go ahead and add this little continuing strip down here. I might even actually do the alternate for each one of these, but I'm going to do that offline. And you can too. It's kind of tedious, but this is a 1/2 inch score line. So what you're going to need for these is about what do I want to say? Like 3/8. So it's going to be a little bit smaller than a 1/2 inch. So 3/8 inch strip, that'll fit right down here. If you do 1/2 inch, it's going to be too big. Okay, so that's it. And then this is going to tie. I'm going to do that later because I'm going to go ahead and open this up and take care of that before I set page 4 or page 3 aside. And then when we come back, we'll be working on page 4. Okay, thanks everybody for tuning in. This is Daphne from Scrap and Create. I'll be back soon with page 4.